What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Truzz the Bank Podcast. We have myself, we have Josh, and we have a special guest, Ingraven. Ingraven, for the people that don't know, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh yeah, sure. I appreciate y'all having me on too. I'm Engraven from IngravenVids. I have a YouTube channel where we upload videos daily. We talk like 99% Ravens, but we dive into just the NFL as a whole in general. And we have a lot of fun on there. Have a lot of fun on there. Of course, give our opinions on whatever it is that's going on. And with the Ravens, it's a lot going on. And yeah, we just have a good time on that. So if it's for you, come through. If it's not for you, that's fine as well. But everybody's more than welcome.
Yeah, and obviously his links are going to be in the description down below. Team Keep It Clean. We're all rocking with Ingraven. But in today's episode or today's podcast episode, we're going to be talking about a few things. The Lamar Jackson stuff that went on Twitter. I don't even know how to word that. Potentially the running back position. And then a couple of free agent decisions that the Ravens have with some potential availability as well as some players and re-signing them. Mm-hmm. But first off, for people that don't know, reports came out about Lamar Jackson's contract, about the guarantees from Ian Rappaport. And then today, Lamar basically was like, no. I got offered $133 million guaranteed over 3 years, and people tell me that I need an agent. Joshua, I'll start with you. What went through your head when you saw all this stuff going on?
I mean, I look at it like this. This everybody's been saying, especially EDC. They're keeping their information to themselves. Lamar Jackson, with him not having an agent, honestly, in my eyes, it's a plus because a lot of information is not getting leaked out to the press. But him working with the NFLPA, they kind of have a strong suit and giving him, suggestions and advice during this contract deal. I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if one of them, probably, spilled out a little information on their end as well. Right now you see two strong-willed people in the organization and also Lamar Jackson that both, like, hey, we gave you this contract. You got Lamar say, I ain't feeling it, champ. Let's try again. Let's do better. You know what? Now you got, all the quote unquote collusions and things of that nature. What supposedly has been offered to Lamar. And Lamar, he pretty much, threw a jab back at them and said, hey man, that 133, 3 years, and I need an agent. Come on now, let's be real, let's be serious. So I mean, it's just, I see it more him just clearing up the airways, because we all seen it before. Let's take it a step further. It's bad when your player has to clear the airways. Let's think about the first time he cleared up the airways when they didn't really say how bad his injury was, and then he had to hop on Twitter to explain to the media, his fans, how bad his injury was, that he had a PCL, why he couldn't travel, things of that nature. So, when it comes to the media aspect of how they've been handling Lamar, they haven't been doing a pretty good job. So, I hope that they can mend whatever, this hurting relationship is so we can still see Lamar Jackson in the purple and black. But I mean, if it's time for us to part ways, let's get some picks. I'm sorry. I love Lamar, but hey, I still gonna rock with Lamar. I might even get his new jersey when he go with a new team. But
oh no,
hey,
man. Going downhill, man. Whoa.
Hey, man. Let's get some picks. Let's get ready for the rebuild. That's all I'm saying, y'all. That's all I'm saying.
And that's funny that you mentioned him having to clear the airwaves again. I think so much of it has to do with public perception, and the public perception of both the Baltimore Ravens and the public perception of Lamar Jackson. Last time when he had to clear the airwaves with the whole injury, it was a lot of people's public perception of him that he was quitting on a team, that he had given up on a season, and that it was all about the money. But Lamar took to Twitter because the coach wasn't doing it. The coach was just kind of leading people along and was doing this whole thing even from last year. Oh, he's week to week and they'll see But the Ravens didn't clear stuff up for him. And it just continued to leave people confused week after week after week after week after week. So Lamar took to Twitter and he cleared it up like, hey, I got a PCL sprain. I want to be out there with my guys, but I just couldn't. And it shouldn't have had to come to that, in my opinion. But it did. Because I guess he just got tired of the rumors and got tired of the misinformation about his public perception, so he wanted to clear it up. And now today, or this week, with him taking to Twitter to clear up the whole thing with the contracts. Obviously, that's the hot topic. It's been a hot topic for a couple of years now, especially this past year and change. There's been a lot of back and forth, and a lot of discourse about what the contract is offered, if the Ravens offered him a fair deal or not, or if he really wants fully guaranteed or not. And so he took to Twitter to let it be known, like, hey, yeah, the 133, 3 years, like, you think that I need an agent for that? Like, no, that's laughable. But I also think that that's just him, trying to set the record straight, like you mentioned before. So it just it's definitely not it doesn't make it look like the Ravens and his relationship is in the best place right now. Just based off of those two incidents alone, but a lot of other stuff along the way. So this whole thing is just, it's been crazy, man. It's been crazy, and it just has us just continuing to wait to see what's next.
Yeah, and for me, I fully get why. Like, I think Lamar Jackson is frustrated, and whether it's frustrated at the Ravens, the media, fans, both, whatever. I mean, the media's been doing him wrong since, before he was in college, but ever since coming out of college, the media's like, oh, this guy can't play quarterback. Mm-hmm. Then he starts winning, and they're like, oh, he can't do this, he can't do that, he can't do this, he can't do that. And he just kept on going. And now, oh, you can't do this without an agent. And then, they're reporting on things making it seem like he's in the wrong rather than the Baltimore Ravens. And I think he's kind of frustrated with that. And he's just kind of frustrated with the whole situation because he's a superstar. He's won an MVP. When he's on the field, the Ravens are clearly better than when he's not playing. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden it gets announced he's on the non-exclusive tag and he's making less money than he was going to on the exclusive. And then every team is like, no, we're not talking to him. And it's like if I'm Lamar Jackson, you feel like, you're a hot commodity. And, I fully respect him not having an agent. I don't think it's a negative at all. But, I feel like an agent is telling you, hey, these teams are interested. And maybe Lamar knows, maybe they've reached out to him, but the legal tampering period, isn't until tomorrow. So we don't know really who's lying about not wanting to talk to Lamar, and he may not know. But the fact that all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're able to talk with other teams, and every team goes, yeah, we don't want to talk to you, when, other quarterbacks are being signed, like the Raiders, a team with a lot of cap space, are signing Jimmy Garoppolo, and the Jets are just going all out for Aaron Rodgers, and somebody just signed Taylor Heineke.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, wait a minute. Why are you guys going after worse players than me? Like, clearly worse players than me are all getting their contracts, and everybody about Lamar is like, yeah, we don't really want to deal with that. And I think that's just, maybe not directed at anybody in particular, but it's just like when one thing that happens to you is bad, I feel like other small things that happen is just compounding upon that. And Lamar Jackson, the thing that was bad was he didn't get the contract, and all of a sudden it's like other teams like, yeah, we don't want to talk to him. It's like, that sucks. I don't know how I would feel if I'm, the best in my field, and all of a sudden people are like, yeah, we don't want you because we want somebody worse. Yeah, that makes no sense. Like, and I understand why. I think a lot of people are mad at Lamar for not taking the deal, but it's like, we can't make him do anything. The Ravens can't make him do anything. If he wants that contract, he doesn't have to sign anything, and there's nobody forcing him to. But, I don't know. It's just kind of frustrating. Do you guys feel like, I think the Players Association has been getting brought up a lot, and the fact that it's all happening kind of right on the tampering period, and the Players Association has seemingly been someone pushing, I don't know, narratives. Do you think the Players Association is putting anything and helping or hurting this contract negotiation at all? Or are they just kind of a scapegoat for people to say, oh, they're the reason that this contract isn't going through or information's being leaked?
I think they certainly are playing their part, and I think they are using Lamar Jackson along the way, especially with him not having an agent, with him being one of the top quarterbacks in the league, with him being in this big time of his career when it's time to get his second contract, and just with the timing of everything. I think they will certainly be pushing for it to be, whether it be a fully guaranteed deal, just pushing for the guaranteed money to be really high, just so they can try to sort of set a new standard, a new precedent among players. So that becomes more of the norm. I think they certainly playing a big role in that, and they want that to be the case moving forward. And I think Lamar he's just a piece of that ultimate puzzle along the way.
I mean, I definitely agree. I would take it. I would use this metaphor. In certain times of life, in certain times of history, when people are at a high or in their prime, so much to speak. When there's some type of political matter or some type of situation going on, that organization sometimes uses those people to be their front runner or their face of their cause right now. So right now I do see Lamar Jackson being that face for the NFLPA. Because right now it's the thing of there's going to be more NFL players that's coming in the league, and even that still are currently in the league that's going to be trying to negotiate their contracts with or without an agent. They just see how Roquan Smith just became the highest paid middle linebacker. And, if Lamar Jackson end up being the highest paid QB, that's going to gear a lot of guys to start being, their own negotiator of their contracts. So, with them saying about, they're telling Lamar Jackson to stand his ground and, don't hold out or don't go for less. It looks like a situation where things are not going to, work for the better for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Lamar, I do understand Lamar, standing his ground. I do understand any man or woman knowing their worth. I'm not going to never tell anyone, if you've been doing the work to devalue yourself, no, hold yourself up to a standard. At the end of the day, it's up to that company to meet your negotiations and your contract. So I just fully and wholeheartedly respect that. But I do want to see, once again, I do want to see Lamar in the black and purple. I want to see him continue to play football at the highest level, because he currently he's one of the best QBs in this free agency draft signing class. If we're going to speak about it, and almost everybody that supposedly had signing interest in Lamar pick up these lesser value QBs. If I'm gonna be real, I'm gonna keep it clean because we got a guess, So, but yeah, man, I do feel like the NFLPA are definitely using Lamar as the face and front runner of their cause. I definitely understand it. Yeah,
face of the cause, not just for not having an agent, but I don't think you want Deshaun Watson to be the face of anything. But Deshaun Watson got the fully guaranteed deal.
Yeah.
And so if Lamar Jackson does it, I think because Deshaun Watson did that, and it was like a lot of people were really surprised, and they're like, well, that's the Browns organization. They're not notorious for being good. And they just kind of had to force themselves to sign him. But if all of a sudden it's like the Ravens organization, a superstar quarterback won an MVP, gets a crazy guaranteed deal, then I think that just helps everybody out in the Players Association. And the Players Association is looking out for the average player. They want to get them their money because they're supposed to speak for everybody. But